My name is Brandon, and I am a recovering alcoholic and addict. Today, I want to talk about the stigma attached to folks who are relapse prone. So, many people are able to stay sober without recurrence of alcohol and drug use. They get on the path to recovery and they stay on that path for the rest of their lives and do not experience a recurrence or relapse to alcohol and drug use. Then there are some people who struggle with sobriety at first, experience a couple of episodes of recurrence or relapse, and then find their footing and stay sober for the rest of their lives after. But there are other people who seem more prone to relapse, who no matter what they do can't seem to stick with sobriety. And unfortunately, from my experience in the recovery community, these people are often stigmatized. They're treated as if they have something wrong with them by their peers in recovery. They're told that they don't want it bad enough or haven't experienced enough pain and desperation, which is an incredibly sad thing to tell someone who clearly is in pain and who is desperate for a solution to that pain. They're told they lack willingness or need a more solid connection with their higher power. Now, any number of those things might actually be true about an individual who's unable to stay sober. But I propose that a more productive way to think about it is to say that these individuals just need more help than their peers who have not experienced similar problems in recovery. And that's where relapse prevention self-help groups come in. So this is an idea outlined in Staying Sober, a guide for relapse prevention by Gorski and Miller. And I will read a summary of what they talk about with relapse prevention groups in this section. They say AA tells us, Alcoholics Anonymous, tells us that some people seem to be constitutionally incapable of recovery. Relapse prevention planning tells us that by studying these people and determining what is happening to them physically, psychologically, socially, and spiritually, we can figure out what needs to happen in order for them to become constitutionally capable of recovery. AA provides 12 steps to recovery. Relapse prevention planning applies them in a special manner to those who are relapse prone. So this is one of the few things that I have found in the AA literature that I didn't like. I love AA and I love the AA literature, but the idea that there are people who are just hopeless and constitutionally incapable of recovery has always bothered me. And what the authors are saying here is that by applying the scientific method to those people and studying what's going on in their lives, we can find ways to help them, and there is hope for even the most seemingly hopeless people. So they introduce the idea of the Relapse Prevention Self-Help Group. And as an introduction, they say this: relapse prevention is a way of life. The recognition and interruption of relapse symptoms must become a daily habit. As with any habit, relapse prevention is difficult to maintain. Many relapse-prone people find that they need support to keep their relapse prevention plan working. They have found that meeting with others who are relapse-prone is helpful. They set up regular meetings to discuss their relapse prevention plans and to exchange information. In some areas, these relapse prevention self-help groups have been incorporated in AA meetings. In other places, special AA meetings have emerged for relapse-prone alcoholics. These meetings are often called Golden Slippers meetings. So the idea that relapse-prone people who have a genuine interest in sobriety and long-term recovery but cannot seem to find the path to that meet with each other to discuss their problems and their solutions is the exact same idea as AA in the first place. AA is a specialized group for people who have a specialized disease or problem in their lives. The same way these relapse self-help groups do the same thing. They collect these people who are prone to relapse. and say, sit together, talk to each other, support each other, and find solutions together in order to address the problems you're facing. They go on to say the Relapse Prevention Self-Help Group is a structured meeting designed to assist relapse-prone people suffering from addictive disease to recognize the warning signs of relapse and learn how to effectively manage these symptoms. The group is designed as a voluntary self-help organization. There are no dues, fees, or memberships required. The primary purpose is to help relapse-prone individuals recognize their unique problems and meet together to give mutual help and support in times of crisis. This self-help group is designed to work in cooperation with Alcoholics Anonymous and related programs. It is also designed to work cooperatively with professional counseling. The group is not designed as a substitute or replacement for AA or professional counseling. That last idea is very important. A relapse self-help group, a relapse prevention self-help group, is not a substitute. It's an additional thing that these particular folks who are relapse prone need to do in order to help themselves. And so it's not something that can be brought in instead of AA or instead of professional counseling. The idea here is if you add this and layer this on top of those two things, then it further increases the chance that someone who is relapse prone will be able to find their way to long-term sobriety. So the last thing I want to read is that many warning signs may develop without the conscious knowledge or intent of the relapse-prone person. As a result, the Relapse Prevention Self-Help Group is designed to provide feedback to the members about the symptoms that are being observed by other group members. The major factors that make these self-help groups so effective are daily inventories that identify warning signs early, efforts to stop the warning signs before they get out of control, talking openly and honestly about the warning signs and what you are doing to stop them with others, and listening to feedback from others. It has been the experience of people involved in relapse prevention self-help groups that there are no hopeless alcoholics. Recovery is possible even for people with long histories of chronic relapse and chronic failures at recovery. The key to recovery is a combination of professional treatment, self-help group involvement based on the 12 steps of AA and the special steps of relapse prevention planning. Man, I really like that. The idea that there are no hopeless alcoholics really makes sense to me. There are just alcoholics and addicts we have not figured out what's the right combination of help for them. So the relapse prevention self-help meeting is another way to help folks who seem to be in that category. And I think that's the key, is that we those of us who have found long-term sobriety without relapse need to avoid looking down on anybody who has not been able to do the same. We've got to avoid sitting in a place of judgment of these people. We have to look at these people in a way of what needs to happen to help these folks. And these relapse prevention self-help groups are seem to be a very good way of doing that. And I do really believe that the judgment, the stigmatization that I've heard from old timers and even newer people in recovery who really look down on those who can't seem to find long-term recovery, that is not helpful to those people in any way. What it does is boost the ego of the people who are passing that judgment, it seems to me. And that's not what we want to be doing for ourselves in our recovery program, and it's not helpful to others. So we need to avoid that, need to look toward methods like this in order to help our brothers and sisters and others in recovery and our peers in recovery to find their way to long-term recovery that we've been blessed with. So hope you all have a good day. Tomorrow we'll discuss a little bit about how relapse prevention planning fits in and expands the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. So looking forward to seeing what the authors have to say about that. In the meantime, have a great day.